Okay, I started recording.
Oh.
Just now, actually.
Oh, that's fun.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so,
Lies.
on her channel that's going to be posted tonight, what we decided
Yes.
was we'll be doing these story time things on Tuesdays, which is our normal speed paint recording time,
Mm-hmm.
and then posting them on Tuesdays because they don't require us to do any serious editing, speeding up, or adding of music. And obviously, what you see right now is just me screwing around on my paint tool. I don't know, she can't see what I'm doing.
Nope.
Anyway, what we're here to talk about, you might have mentioned it. We mentioned it in the video that's going up in her video and her channel tonight alongside mine, which was the story of Nightlock, a wonderful character of hers. This story is about one of my characters, and his name is Carlisle.
My god, I'm gonna be so sad during this video.
And Carlisle, despite being one of the cheeriest ponies I have, in every way, shape, and form in any situation,
I'm
really.
like, seriously.
Um,
Even his looks.
even his looks are very, very cheery or bright. And I don't know if I don't think I ever posted a video of him, but she just did.
I did 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah, she did a couple weeks ago, which was growing in popularity quite quickly, actually.
Yeah.
And Carlisle is a character of mine that I made. It's been a little while now.
Yeah,
He's
it has.
he's a great character. This is him. Many of you know him. Look at how happy he is and joyful and everything and the such. He's very
And
colorful
beautiful.
and he's gorgeous. But that's Carlisle, and this is his story and where he comes from. In the video you saw Midnight post, his wings were open. But I'm going to tell you why that's not a thing in a moment.
And and I just did that for fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that I
I'll
actually wanted to get the video out.
start with his foal hood. You know, many ponies have a great foal hood. Not every one of them, though. Our characters tend to not.
Oh, my luck is so cute. I'm sorry.
Our,
I
our characters don't always have happy foal hoods. Carlisle's is one of my sadder stories.
cried.
She did, which takes a lot to make her cry, usually. And
It really does.
so we'll start off with his foal hood, who obviously started off like really any other foals, any other normal foal. With, like the loving parents and the everything like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's living his happy little life as a little foal. And then his education started. And due to his very cheery nature and his very bright and colorful coat and wings and eyes in general, surprise, surprise, he was picked on. Pretty harshly, actually. It was really sad, and he tried so hard to stay positive throughout everything, and in the end, he ended up indeed staying positive. He was a really happy, cheery kind of person, pony. And it was just, everything seemed to be normal at first. But soon, his cheery attitude and his colors started to get him picked on because he wasn't like every pony else. And at first, he just brushed it off, everybody knows that one cheery kid who always, brushes off everything. And, sometimes it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone knows that person. And Carlisle was that person, that pony. So every day he'd get picked on, shoved around, pushed down outside, or made fun of because of his cheery attitude and his vibrant colors. And every single day he just pushed it off like they were water on his wings. It was just gone.
Water on his wings.
Yeah. And the next day he would wake up and he would do it again. And it happened like that for quite some time. He was almost through his first years. Many of us, we call it elementary school. He was almost through elementary when one day his luck changed a lot. And this is the part she hates. Carlisle, despite all the years of pushing every pony back that was rude to him and made fun of him and said everything, he finally, a few ponies had enough of that and wanted to see him, for once, get knocked down a peg. They wanted to see him sad. They wanted to see him cry. Because in all the years, he hadn't cried once in school. Because he was always taught, as he was growing up, that ponies will say mean things no matter what. But you can push that stuff away and get over it. So that's what he tried to do until the day ponies had had enough of that and decided that the sweet little Carlisle was going to get knocked down. But a lot worse than the scratches on his legs or the scuffs on his body whenever he would get knocked down on a playground. It was a lot more hostile. And so to say just straight up, there was a group of ponies, a group of foals led by one specific filly whose story one day you will learn, who turned very hostile and then tragic, who I won't mention her name, because this is not about her. And Carlisle was cornered by this group of foals, and with a pair of classroom scissors, the tendon underneath his wings were cut. Rendering him flightless. To many, especially me and Midnight, it's one of the sadder parts of the story because his wings are so beautiful.
Yes.
He in general is a beautiful pony, and we like him a lot.
Hate seeing him in pain.
And everything as in the such.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as usual, when they wanted to see him cry, once again, he wouldn't do it. And in this situation, he did nothing more than hold back the pain and laugh with the other foals. Because he didn't want to show the pain, for one, and for two, he just figured if it was funny to every pony else, it should be funny to him as well. You ever been in this situation where somebody you've been around for a long time tells a joke and everybody but you laughs, so you just kind of laugh as well because you want to feel like you got the joke or you understand what's going on? And that was the instance with him. So he began to just laugh and laugh and laugh with them as his wings kind of laid there. And this is Midnight, one of Midnight's, this is her least favorite part of this story.
Ugh.
Because
I hate that. I hate it.
It
so
shows how hostile foals can be, even if they're just young. And he did nothing but be nice to every pony and was cut down, rather literally.
My God, stop.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so what happened afterward was he, as usual, when you tell a really good joke, you say it again. or you tell it to people. And so he went home after school. Well, technically, he didn't go home. His parents were called because, as one would expect, there was quite a lot of blood and such that had happened from him getting hurt like that. He didn't understand why his parents needed to be called, because he didn't understand why it wasn't funny, in a sense. So, when his parents found out what had happened to him, they had decided that it was enough, that enough was enough, pretty much. After all of the terror and the pain and everything that he had gone through, and the bullies with, it's just, his parents just decided that it was too much. And so they moved him from the Carlisle schools where he lived to the outskirts of Carlisle at the bottom of a cliff where no pony would ever really think to go. And they began to homeschool him because they never wanted him to feel another ounce of pain again. And Carlisle, being a very social pony, and he liked being around other ponies, this very quickly spiraled him into a deep depression that,
You know the part that I hate?
the other part that she hates, spiraled him into another deep depression. And soon he started to see flaws within himself and other things, wondering why nobody liked him and everything like that, why he was always picked on, why he was beat down, and ultimately why his wings were cut. So he grows up without the use of his wings. And obviously, like any earth pony, really, he learns to live without flying, because he never really could do it too much in the first place. So he never had a big problem with it and became very athletic when it comes to things such as running or climbing, because they still did have to go into the city to get things for, get groceries and other things. So he became very, very athletic in that sense of being able to climb the cliff, very, very quick speeds without falling. So he never lost how strong he was after losing his wings. He never let that fact hold him back. But back to the main point. After living in solitude for so long, he became very, very depressed and started to have particular thoughts about wondering about not being there anymore, typically like suicide attempts and thoughts like that, because he was scared. He didn't get it. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse for him. And he never figured out how to cope with it, since he never could have any friends because his mother and father were very scared that allowing him back into public school or back into the Carlisle schools in general would cause him to get picked on more. And they didn't want that to happen to him. And so Carlisle lived his life down at the edge of the cliff with his mother and father until ultimately his mother got sick and didn't make it through a specific winter. And his father ended up dying from an injury that I would rather not go into, because it was wolf related.
Yeah, I remember you.
And we have
Oh.
lovely wolf characters that we love.
We only have one wolf character.
I know.
And
And
My
anything.
Little Pony.
And his father died by a fatal wolf wound, a wolf bite, and which left Carlisle alone down in the house. And so after his mother and father died, he too fell into a much deeper depression and began to wonder why he tried anymore. And began to wonder why he tried to be happy or be nice to everyone. And so that started his attempts at his life. And many attempts, he took many on his life throughout the rest of it. He's still alive, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
He
Yep.
put many attempts out on himself, day after day after day, and every single one of them failed. Because it was either the cuts would dry shut, or some pony somewhere somehow found him and rescued him, but he never knew their name. And so basically, he continued to get worse and worse and worse day after day until he had finally had enough and decided that the cuts were not going to do it anymore. And he had to choose something different, which is where we get him jumping off a cliff of the mountains he lives by in an attempt to finally end everything and no longer have to worry. Once more, this attempt too failed.
Thank God.
And he was rescued by, once again, a pony he never met. This didn't stop him from trying again, because he was determined that whatever was going on in his life, he wasn't worth it anymore. So he had begun to plan his next attempt when he met a certain some pony by the name of Corruption.
Yes.
Yes, any pony here who knows anything about her would know that she's not exactly the nicest pony.
No, she is
Not at all. She's not very kind to any pony. She doesn't really care about any pony. And tends to find happiness in other ponies being upset.
Fear.
Or being scared
anger,
of her.
Just any negative emotion.
And so, yes, even though Carlisle was depressed and everything, he still had a natural, cheery attitude that he would keep. And this attitude, this cheery attitude, was not very enjoyed by Corruption.
Not at all.
She did not like it. Not one bit. But like Carlisle always did, he was nice to her. And it gave her a headache.
It gave her a migraine. It gave me a migraine when I first met him.
It was awful. She, in a sense, hated him, despised him, everything. Wanted him to hate her. And so, because this is not too much of her story, I can say, when they first met, she attempted to make him angry by splashing mud on his white coat. And this obviously didn't work. He was still joyful, still happy, enjoyed his time, and even tried to befriend her. All while he was planning his next attempt at his life. Because he wanted to go out with almost like almost like a finale. It was more so his final attempt to make any sort of friend before he did it.
I want to see this.
And
I got captured.
when the day approached for him that he had planned, he found himself once again standing on the cliff's edge. In the middle of the night this time, because he figured no pony would be awake, so no pony could help him. And he couldn't find the strength to fall off, in a sense. He felt something he hadn't felt in a very, very long time, and found his strength again to wait for the next day. And his depression, although still there, and in all honesty, still quite severe at times, no longer appears as much, thanks to the help of corruption, who in the end saved his soul and his life. Because despite all of her hostilities, he found he loved her. And he stayed with the hope that he would make up the courage to ask her to be his. And in the end, that's kind of what he did. And everything. And now, even though he still lives without the use of his wings, he lives a lot happier. And had a happy ending where he found the special sun pony that saved his life and made him feel loved and cared about again. And although he still grieves the loss of his parents and the loss of his chances at having friends when he was a foal, he still stands taller than ever with corruption despite their differences.
Huge.
Huge differences.
Like, hold on, can you pull up a picture of how huge the difference just is?
Yes, I can pull up a picture of corruption. I just have to find it. There we are. This right here is corruption. She is vastly different from him. And not only in color, but in attitude and how they go about the world. But these two did find love within one another, proving that despite that every single time Carlisle is ever really around, corruption has an ear-splitting headache that just feels like utter destruction.
Yes.
But she puts up with it every single day of her life with him, and they live happily together.
Yay.
At the bottom of a cliff.
At the bottom
of a cliff.
Away from any ponies, thank
Away
God.
from any pony, because frankly, neither of them anymore like ponies.
Yeah.
Carlisle has learned now that it is okay to be assertive when needed, and that it's okay to stand up for himself and for other ponies that need it. He doesn't always have to be the yes stallion or the one that is always happy and always kind to every pony. He learned that it was okay to be rude when it was appropriate.
Corruption doesn't have this kind of...
Corruption is still a different thing.
Corruption is a different thing. We'll get to a different video on my channel.
Yeah, she will be a completely different story because hers, like Carlisle's, is quite long.
Yes.
I know that this video has been going on for a while, but that was the basis of Carlisle. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. And please leave a like. Please comment down below too if you made it to the end, and we will shout out your name in the next video.
Yes, we will.
I hope you all enjoyed Carlisle's little story and his tragedy and then his happy ending with the mayor that he loves. And thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.